The Power Rankings by Dan Hanzus ahead of week 1, and we always do this with a theme. What's the name of our movie, guys?
Don't worry, darling.
No movie has had more buzz. Not Titanic, not Star Wars, and everybody's talking about Don't Worry, Darling. So we'll do that with a theme according to the cast, or alleged cast, of Don't Worry, Darling. Let's go. 25 to 32. Let's go to the Shia LaBeouf division. Disavowed, I guess. A lot of controversy from this one. Take that what you will. Dan Hanzus has the Bears as the worst team in football going into the season, with the Falcons, the Commanders, and the Jags down in the bottom 4. This part's never really fun. So let's move on to the Nick Kroll division.
Yeah.
Peter tells me Nick Kroll is in it.
Nick Kroll was kissing Harry Styles at the Venice.
He's kissing Harry Styles?
Yes.
Yeah, who hasn't? All right, let's go. See on the bottom right, Seahawks, Panthers, Browns, Steelers. A lot of these AFC North teams there, and then on the left, as we're getting into the top, the Titans way down at 17. Wow. The Patriots, who've gotten no love at the table today, are at 18. But then we got to move into the Florence Pugh division. Loved her in the Black Widow movie. What else has she been in? She's in the Dune 2.
Little Women.
Little
Women. All right. Chargers and Baltimore Ravens in your upper left round out the top 10 teams, according to Dan Hanzus. Raiders and Colts didn't make it in. Saints, Eagles, Cowboys. And then he's got the Cardinals, who Jason McCourty picked to win the NFC West. And let's move into the Harry Styles division. I saw there was a video of him and Chris Pine last night, like a spitting incident. Something weird going on with him. All right, Dan's got Bills as the best team in the league, and the Rams. How perfect. They play in 2 days. And then the Niners and the Bucks, Bengals.
3.
Okay, Peter, that is fascinating. Woo! Bucks still way up at 4. Rodgers and the Packers at 6. Look at the Broncos showing up at 8. All right, Dan, enough with the nonsense and the don't worry, my darling. That's what you're here for. It's time to bring on the man. He has a new podcast dropping today with Colleen Wolfe. We love it. It's called the Power Rankings Podcast. You can get even more detail behind all these decisions. It's our own Dan Hanzus. Hello, Dan.
What's up, Dan?
Hey, good to be back. Well, welcome, Jamie and Jason. I'm so happy to be part of the team. I still don't know who Florence Pugh is, but I hear her name roughly 7,000 times a day. I guess I'm not a cinephile.
She's everywhere. Everywhere. And so are you, Dan. And if you want to work in Florence Pugh to your rankings, that's your business. The top 2 teams on your power rankings, they play. They play in 2 days. It's the Bills and the Rams. In your keen eyes, how will injuries to key players heading into... I guess that's what we'll start with. Dan, tell us about the injuries in this game and why that fed into your thing. Go ahead.
Injury takes.
Injury. All right. We're all ready for football at this point. With the Buffalo situation, it's the secondary that I'm very interested in seeing without Tre'Davious White there. They have 2 rookies, Kaiir Elam and Christian Bedford. They're going to be targeted, you would think, by the defending champions here on prime time. That's a big stage for them, and I like that they're taking it easy with White. You know they probably beat the Chiefs last January if they have White on the field, and the idea is the Bills want to play in February. So get this guy right and now hold down the fort, and maybe you learn something about some of these kids. So you got to keep an eye on the secondary. With the Rams, again, we're so sick and tired of talking about this stuff, but I need to see Matt Stafford in games, because the one thing teams are able to do in the summer is they can control the narrative. They can decide what you see, what you don't. And now what happens if Matthew Stafford, with that elbow that he had an issue with last year and got the injection in the offseason and was kind of kept under wraps for the entire summer, what if he has to throw 40 passes against Josh Allen and he's in a shootout and he takes a helmet to the arm? How does he feel the next day? It's a long season. Injuries are a big part of this game.
Sure are. So they're all out there in the Venice Film Festival, and Harry Styles shows up, and he's wearing just one giant collar. I saw that. And the collar, the styles and the fashion. You mentioned Florence Pugh. I'm a Justin Pugh guy. That's what I know. Okay,
there you go. Good lineman, right?
Yeah. And Dan, we bring it back to football. Can you explain your thought process for ranking the Niners, who have this unknown quantity at quarterback, as the 3rd best team out of 32 in the NFL? Bold decision. Love your power rankings.
Thank you, Peter. This is the one that I could already tell I'm going to get the most heat for. But I think people forget how great this defense was last season. It was top 10 DVOA defense. Even though they didn't create a lot of turnovers, they were just good. And then you look at what they did in the postseason. They shut down Dallas in Dallas. They embarrassed the Packers on their home field. They came within a 4th quarter. You want to call it a collapse? You could call it a collapse, but they almost beat the eventual champions. So they have that side of the ball set. Obviously, we trust Kyle Shanahan and his ability to make the most out of his offense. So if he sees, like you guys were talking in the last segment, if he trusts the kid Trey Lance, I trust him. And just like everyone else, I don't think it's great news for Trey Lance that Jimmy G's still in the building, but it's great news for the Niners, and it's great news for Niners fans because it was a little bit of a weird setup and a gutsy setup to have a team this ready to hoist the Lombardi and then stick a kid in there that's thrown like 370 passes since the start of college. Now you do have that Jimmy G backup situation. Could have caused some issues in the locker room because they all love Garoppolo in there. I don't know. We're going to find out. See, finally, football's going to start. We find out some answers. Enough speculation.
Absolutely.
Hallelujah.
Absolutely. Dan, Cowboys had some pretty crappy injury news in the preseason when Tyron Smith was ruled out with an avulsion fracture of the knee. But Jerry Jones came out and said, don't worry, darling. He addressed his ailing offensive line. On Monday, he added veteran tackle Jason Peters to the practice squad. We talk about the strength of the Dallas defense, but can their offense carry their own weight this season?
I don't know, Jamie. It's weird. We're so used to even going back to the Romo era. You know the offense is going to be fine. Can the defense just be middling, and then you have the recipe to 10, 11, 12 wins? It's like flip this year, and Michael Gallup, I think, is such an important part of the equation. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to take a big jump this year. I think the running game will be okay. I think Dak is excellent. The O-line, we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, I think the idea that with Amari Cooper leaving, you need to get more balance in that offense or they're just going to cave in on CeeDee Lamb. So Gallup, I think, is a potential difference maker in that division.
Dan, we're going to stick with the theme of don't worry, darling. If there's ever a team that fits that theme this preseason, it's your number 18 team, the New England Patriots. Are you telling fans and everybody, don't worry, darling, or should we be extremely concerned with the offensive side of the ball for them?
Jason, you should know that I'm born and raised a Jets fan. I have a lot of issues psychologically and mentally and otherwise with the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. But I also respect them. I'm not stupid. And I think it's been a little bit of a pile-on. That's why I picked them on NFL.com to be a wild card team, because I think everyone's counting them out. And I understand that the offense, they're installing a new scheme, and that's going to be an issue early on especially. But I think they start to figure it out as the season goes along, as they always did. And I think people are sleeping on how good Mac Jones was as a rookie and getting too caught up on who the coaching staff is and not remembering who's in the big chair. So, yes, it could be a rough start for New England, but watch out. In December, they're going to be in that playoff race, and people will be not even bringing up the fact that no one thought they would contend at the beginning of September.
Certainly no one at this table. 0 for 4. It's not like they've accomplished anything, that organization. Wow, that's one. Dan Hanzus checking in from Planet Telex. Please be sure to check out NFL Power Rankings presented by Energizer every Tuesday at NFL.com and Dan's new podcast with Colleen Wolfe, one of our favorites. Dan, you never, ever leave us high and dry, and we'll see you next week.
Beautifully done. Thanks, guys.